So these Gators, Sonny, they're coming off of a flourishing season. They went back to the NCAA tournament. They played some strong basketball down the stretch last year, reached the SEC tournament final. Meanwhile, South Florida, again, last year, arguably the best season in program history, not just the school record wins. Remember, they won the regular season championship at one point, won 15 straight games. Prospered a year ago. And what will they do?
And what they had to add was size, and so they did. Green, Reynolds, Adam Okoye, all big physical players.
Let's get this season started, shall we?
Hey, this is fun. Jaden Reed with the basketball. JR, as they call him, quick, fast, explosive.
He's the starting point guard this year for this South Florida team. Immediately they go inside to Jameel Reynolds. He's one of the first-year transfers, and like you said, is expected to be an important post threat. Walter Clayton Jr., you mentioned the prolific scorer a moment ago. He puts the first shot up for the Gators, led this team in scoring a year ago.
Kevin should be a great pace to this game. Now, whether teams shoot well on the opening night, we'll find out.
First basket goes to Kobe Knox. Three-point shooter from Tampa buries that one.
Scouting reports said do not let Knox catch it, shoot it, make him put it on the floor. Kobe Knox, now in his junior season, knows how to answer, started all 33 games a year ago.
We've got a foul away from the ball on this end. And so, again, you got Florida from Gainesville, South Florida from Tampa. We're meeting in Jacksonville here, a little neutral site game to start the season.
Great city. The Gators are here for football on Saturday.
That's
and
right.
The Gator fans are back in this town tonight. A great crowd.
This is the aforementioned Elijah Martin. Wide, physical, tough competitor. Shot clock starting to wind down. Condon nearly lost it. Clayton's open in the corner. Head fake. Got one man in the air. Misfires. Well, Alex Condon.
Yeah, the Bulls are an impressive half-court defensive team. They're aggressive, they're active with their hands, good with their feet. Florida's got to make sure they play off 2 feet when they get to the lane.
Yeah, their success last year was built on the rugged defense. Elijah Martin from 12.
Good matchup. Brandon Stroud, who's an active defender, guarding Elijah Martin. Good start for Martin.
So here is the South Florida starting five. Now, their top returning scorer, it is Kobe Knox, who drives baseline this time, only averaged about 8.5 a game last year. South Florida replacing its top 3 scorers from last season. Martin misfired. There's Stroud down at the board. Stroud on the move. Back to Reed. He's got the mismatch, trying to blow by Condon, threw it away.
Both coaching staffs emphasize getting back on defense and making sure they rebound.
Well, Florida played at a very fast pace a year ago. This is Will Richard.
Tough shot. Hand in his face, a little ball fake. You got an easy pass inside.
So the Gators are now 0 of 4 from deep. There's Knox running the floor nicely. So Kobe Knox has got both baskets here for South Florida.
And Todd Golden stands up. He wants pace. Keep pushing it up and down the floor.
Clayton gave it away. He was looking for one of the other first-year transfers. That's Ruben Chinyelu, and there is a foul in transition.
And we know Florida is fast, but don't rest on the South Florida Bulls. They will push it, and they look to attack from all angles. They've got guys that can catch it and shoot it from the outside, so that opens up spacing for any of them that want to drive, especially on the break.
Yeah, they go with 4 guards in the starting 5 here. They've got some good depth at that position, according to their staff.
And I think the guy with the basketball, Reed's going to have a fantastic season. His quickness is tough to match defensively.
Just a sophomore, wound up starting 13 games last year as a rookie. But he lost at that time, and so Florida coming back the other way. Thomas Houck into the game for the first time. That's number 10 in the white. Again, part of that deep front court. That's a great cut by the vet. There's Clayton.
So Clayton has about 5 inches on Jaden Reed. So JR's got to make sure when Clayton backdoor cuts, got to keep him in front of him.
Well, if you're South Florida, the biggest challenge today against Florida, what is it?
You've got to make sure you rebound. Again, one of the keys to South Florida is their spacing on the offensive end. Make the Gators chase a little bit. That's what they're doing early. But on the defensive end, they've got to rebound. only allow the Gators one look. And again, that's what they've done. A great start for this Bull squad.
Yeah, Florida, by the way, 0 of 5 now from deep.
Take a look. We know that the Bulls will overplay passing lanes, and so what happens if you can clear out the backside, you can get backdoor cuts. A fabulous pass right on the money by Condon. Easy finish by Walter.
Clayton, great build, size. To your point there, he's got a little bit of the length and size advantage. Matched up against Jaden Reed. Condon goes flying past the first couple of rows here. Luckily, there's a little avenue for him not to have to leap over any seats.
I think what's been interesting is Todd Golden has taken Elijah Martin, his newest player, the transfer, and he's put him on the point guard, Jaden Reed. That says a lot about what Todd Golden thinks of what Elijah Martin can do on the defensive end. That sets the tone for this Gator squad.
This veteran has come in and made quite an impact. Oh, it's Condon. Sends that one into the second row behind the basket. So Alex Condon, we saw him pick up a offensive board, swats a shot here. He did that so well last year in his rookie season.
Yeah, terrific help and recover. And when a guy gets beat, they come from the weak side. Good block, good active hands. But I'll say this, if you continue to get beat off the dribble, you're going to pay the price against South Florida.
Bulls have the 3-point lead. Season opener in Jacksonville, 3 to shoot. And Casey Jennings, who hit the latest basket for USF, had to put that one up. Stroud kept the dribble around the bucket.
Got to make sure on scouting reports Stroud is the lefty. Can shoot it outside, but when he puts it on the floor, would like to go left. 7 points early for Stroud.
Dan Hurley's Huskies went back-to-back. Right now they appear to be the betting favorites to start this season. So can they go for a pretty unprecedented 3 consecutive titles? Sonny, they lost a whole bunch of players in the draft. That happened the prior year as well. And
I'll say no, they can't.
Yeah.
Okay, let's throw it out there. No, they can't.
Incredibly difficult, by the way, to do that.
Yeah,
There's Condon on the baseline.
Great call after the timeout by Todd Golden. Used the size advantage inside, pounded a little bit.
So Alex Condon, the precocious Australian, his first basket. South Florida has the early edge, up 9 to 6. Jaden Reed throws it up for the first time from deep. Condon running the floor. Reed trying to get back. Condon with the hammer. And the foul. Whoa.
What a terrific lead pass. And what was impressive, what Condon did was he kept the ball away from Jaden Reed. Now Reed is only 5'10", but every guard likes to get a basketball and get a swipe. He goes by him, Condon holds on, then the finish, contact. Terrific play by this Gator squad.
And a little how you like me now there, head nod afterward. So Condon, the sophomore from Perth, preseason all-conference team. He was a obvious choice for the all-rookie squad last year.
Another guy in the backcourt, Denzel Aberdeen, quick defensively. Terrific at the end of last season. He'll be a very valuable piece for the Gators this year.
Yeah, went off in that SEC tournament semifinal game, went for a career-high 20 points, and he is going to be the lead ball handler, first guard coming off the bench for Florida. Martin to Condon, they are pushing it now. All knotted up at 9 in the season opener. This is Deontay Green, who's guarding Clayton for a little more size now, and Florida's leading scorer. Clayton with the ball fake, picks up the dribble. Another good defensive sequence here from South Florida. Hauk has to force it with 1 on the timer.
I'll tell you what, this Bull squad is quick defensively with their feet and their hands. They have yet to be beat off the dribble. If you can contain your guy, then the help and recover is much easier than if you get beat off the dribble.
They were one of the better defensive teams in the American a year ago. That was vital in their wins against Memphis, Florida Atlantic at times last year. They beat both of those squads when they were ranked. After the miss, Florida in a hurry again. That's C.J. Brown, the freshman, who cuts off Martin. Condon range in his freshman year from deep. Clayton with a strong drive.
Off the bounce again. You get beat off the bounce, too much pressure on your backside.
So Walter Clayton Jr., high expectations for the senior from Florida. 3 in the air, and that's down. Quincy Adamakoya.
The man they call Q, again, catch, shoot it. Todd Golden's staff was upset after that possession defensively. They got a number of guys they want from the South Florida team to make them put it on the floor.
Boy, Kaysen Jennings nearly took that one away from the veteran. Out of bounds, though, so Florida keeps it.
A terrific defensive game, but offensively, you have guys like Walter Clayton Jr. that can take you off the bounce. But here's what South Florida wants to do. Get you moving defensively. If their offensive guys can get open and spacing, they're going to catch and release.
South Florida's hit the only 2 threes in this game. We thought that this one was going to be a compelling one. 2 teams coming off just really brilliant seasons.
And Kevin, openers are always tough.
Yes.
Guys have a high energy, a little bit nervous. This guy's not now, though.
Clayton for 3. So Clayton's got 7 to lead all Florida scores. The Gators pull back in front.
And because of the ability of other guards defensively out front for Florida, it allows Clayton to kind of play shooting guards on the backside. It rests him just a little bit on the defensive end.
Sam Alexis into the game and pulls down his first rebound. Clayton on the move. This is Will Richard back in again. Left his feet, finds Aberdeen in the corner.
Alexis powerful inside offensively.
Trying to go to work on Green. Spun, goes up with the right. So Sam Alexis has his first basket as a Gator.
So the Bulls elected not to double team Alexis. Now, what Big Sam did was he took his time and got it to the place where he could score.
I mean, he's got size. He's 6'8", well-built, 240 pounds, comes over from Chattanooga.
And very skilled. Chattanooga was very good last year.
Yep.
He is high skilled on the offensive end.
Florida feels great about the transfers they brought in. So does South Florida. Adamakoya is one of them. And he's going to the free throw line here after the foul.
What a terrific matchup for both of these teams on an opening night. It will allow both coaches to see where their strengths and maybe a little weaknesses are. But the South Florida team will stretch you a little bit. They'll make you run and chase because they've got great athletes. They can backdoor, but they can also spot up.
It's unique, the roster construction. Sonny, it really is. So here's South Florida. They lose their 3 leading scorers from a year ago. They bring in 9 newcomers. It was very similar to what happened ahead of last year. They gelled, came together very quickly, go on to have this fabulous season.
It's college basketball, especially for mid-majors. If you've got a good one, you're probably going to lose him. And one of their great ones, Chris Youngblood, is now over there with Nate Oates' squad at Alabama. We'll see him a lot this season.
Florida by 2, season opener, first half. Just getting started. Glad you're with us. So back to Alexis in the paint, kicks it out. And so Clayton may have to create with 6 seconds to go. Alexis sets the feed. That's down and out. Reynolds down at the board. So South Florida coming the other way. Stroud spins, lost it, able to recover. Williams wants 3. Yes.
Score. Junior college transfer. Or actually was at Cincinnati first year this year at USF.
So South Florida 3 of 7 from deep. They've taken care of the basketball too. Alexis going body to body with the big man. That's Reynolds.
Boy, good defense.
And there's a turnover. It's a careless pass from Clayton. This is Jimmy Williams, who just hit that 3.
Yeah, Williams is a junior college guy and was a terrific scorer. Averaged over 22 a game at junior college.
Yeah, bucket getter. So they think he's got some high upside here. They believe it can translate. And that looks like the second foul on Walter Clayton Jr. at about the midway mark of this first half.
A terrific battle early and back and forth, whether you're a guy that's been here a while or a newcomer. high activity. And in the corner, wide open, Jimmy Williams. As the season starts in the AAC, they're picked to finish second or third.
That's right, third, yep.
And UAB is the choice. Andy Kennedy squad, outstanding again.
Yeah, and that seems reasonable. You think Memphis, Wichita State would be in the conversation to win the title. But South Florida is aiming to extend its reign atop the league.
Well, Coach Shamir put in a culture, and it survives today, right? Yeah. And Ben Fletcher continues it on. They're a confident group. When they walked in, we watched shoot around today. Their coaches are confident.
Well, they just forced another Florida turnover. Here goes Brown. What a flush. The rookie, C.J. Brown. Welcome to the college game, my friend.
Quick, athletic. And they are a menace on the defensive end. They are active in Florida, having a tough time running and getting into things offensively.
Yeah, yes, they are. They have forced 4 turnovers. Count that basket, by the way. Chinyelu draws the foul. 4th turnover. This one leads to the transition.
You better be efficient, and if you pick up your dribble, you're in trouble. And if teammates aren't available, good break. And wow, impressive C.J. Brown, the freshman from Marietta, Georgia, 6'2". Good finish.
So, pardon me, they won't count that basket. Florida will inbound underneath the hoop. But yeah, John, a couple of those turnovers, it's led immediately to a transition opportunity for the Bulls. Off the miss, they're running again. Williams lob it up to Knox.
Every chance they get to run, they do.
And it's a 9-0 run for the South Florida Bulls, playing with incredible resolve, resilience. Richard answers.
And a bucket by Richard, but Florida's kind of going mano-a-mano. It doesn't help when you're playing against an aggressive defense.
South Florida by 3. It's been a tight first half. Bulls have led for the majority of it, not by too much.
Watch the spacing on the offensive end by the Bulls.
How about Reynolds?
All 5 guys can shoot it. Reynolds, because of his size, at 6'11", but he can step out, face up, make shots. They keep the lane open for backdoor cuts.
Yeah, now you got 6 different Bulls that have scored. Just 11 minutes in. Richard for 3. Not that time. Condon. There's a second offensive board. He was a menace on the offensive glass a year ago. Now Martin spots up. Can't hit. Condon another. Chinyelu got his hands on it first. It should be a jump ball. Condon lets out the roar. And possession arrow, though, will keep it here with the Gators.
How confident is this South Florida squad when they get the ball? Watch them run. It's a dead sprint. If you don't get back, if you don't stop ball, if you don't protect rim, you're going to pay the price. Knox with an easy finish.
Yeah, you got to love the way this team is playing with quite a bit of courage halfway through this one. So Corey Walker Jr. will give Reynolds a break. Really the only program veteran in the South Florida, and a lot of first and second year Bulls. And they look very connected, at least halfway through this first period. Another giveaway, and now it's Reed. Up ahead to Knox, been running the floor all evening.
What a pass. Jaden Reed right on the money.
So Knox has got 9, that leads all scorers.
Florida having a difficult time with the half-court defense.
And so they hoist up another 3, and they're ice cold from deep.
And here they come.
Jennings, transition triple, way off that time. Knox took a bump, and it's on Condon. The running Bulls, they've got the 7-point lead here, 8:08 to go in the first.
One of the keys at Ben Fletcher, when we talked today in practice, I said, what's the biggest thing? He said, rebounding. He said, we know Florida's big, we know they're strong. If we can rebound, we have speed to be able to convert, whether we get open shots or at the rim, and they've proven that so far in this first half.
Yeah, we're seeing the athleticism. They played one exhibition, that was on Wednesday against a Division II team. And of course, looked really good. Knox has gotten off to a fine start, but it has been South Florida's defense the story in the first half. Great look there, extra pass, corner 3, Adam Okoye.
How about the ball movement? Again, if you get beat off the dribble, guys have to run, guys have to help. Too late, Bulls Not going to know the three.
It is a motivated team. They've got a 10-point advantage. And they are the aggressors right now. It's a foul that'll take us to a timeout. 16-2, South Florida run on opening night.
One of the better passes you'll see on opening night is when a point guard can hit ahead. And watch this pass. There's really not a lot there. Jaden Reed throws it up top, right on the money. Easy basket. And if you chase, they make you chase one more pass.
Opening night, my friend. Good to be back with you. College Hoops is here. We are in Jacksonville. That's here for us. Okay.
Fun to be here.
South Florida on a 16-2 run. They have been the sharper and more connected team here in this first half. They look great, shooting 55% from the floor.
And what a good opening night matchup for both squads.
This one felt like it was going to be absolutely compelling. Clayton misfires. Condon, and boy, what is that? 4 offensive boards here in the first half. He's going to the free throw line. He's relentless.
Well, he's constantly in motion, so you might think you have him blocked out, but when you turn your head, you're in trouble. Any defender, you're watching a lot of things, and then you got to put a body. Alex Condon is one of those guys that's so active. He's got great hands. When he gets his hands on it, he usually squeezes it pretty tight. And without his play so far in this first half, the Gator team would be in trouble.
Yeah, without a doubt. He's got 5 boards now. You know, he is tough, he's rugged, totally exceeded expectations a year ago, and led all rookies in the SEC in rebounding and blocks. And so now as a sophomore, he's a little higher up the scouting report. That next step, what's it going to look like? And so far, a nice start. He's got the 8 points and 5 boards. Wow, Reed, the blow by to the basket for 2 more.
No sense if you're Elijah Martin to get too crazy out front and try to challenge a guy that's probably quicker than you. You get beat off the dribble, no one behind it sees it.
Condon screen and roll, nicely done. He's into double figures. Well, let's zoom in on that just a bit. The athleticism, I hear you keep talking about that on the South Florida side.
Well, South Florida's just got speed and quickness. Their feet and their hands have been active. And what I've noticed, Florida's having a hard time offensively beating any one-on-one off the dribble. So that's slowed them down in a bit. They've got to move the basketball. Defensively, you got to know who you're guarding. Yeah, I know Martin might be a great player, but let's be honest, Jaden Reed has blown by him a couple times.
Corner 3, that's Clayton Jennings, pardon me. That's the 5th South Florida triple.
Boy, mistake by Walter Clayton Jr. He's guarding a shooter. All you have to do is make him put it on the floor.
Welcome back to the floor. Jennings missed all of last year with that foot injury. And so he's got 5 points here in the first half. Martin off balance 3. And Florida ice cold from deep.
Here's what happens if you sit back. Will Richards slow getting back. South Florida will push.
Oh, how about Jaden Reed? Pulls up from 30. And South Florida playing with a resilience, a resolve, a determination today.
You know what? Maybe they're playing with a peace about it. We watched them in practice today. There was no hesitation about their ability to walk in here and compete.
They seemed very spirited, very upbeat. Sonny, you're right. And there was a courage, confidence about them. Reed into the paint once again. Martin, nice job contesting that. This one bouncing free. Who wants it? Reed comes up with it. Green for 3. No.
Florida's got to handle this last 5.5 minutes. Get some buckets, get some stops.
Right call there. It's a blocking foul on South Florida. And so that's the 6th team foul on the Bulls. They're in the bonus. Florida is now.
They will stretch you out and make you chase. And here's where Clayton, I said, he was late getting to a shooter. You could see his face. And if you don't pick up Jaden Reed in a roundabout way, you can't get too tight that he blows by you. But if you give him too much space, he'll make you pay.
You know, Reed didn't take too many threes a year ago, maybe 2 a game, but he was right around 50%. So he's capable. And this staff is very high on the sophomore from Westbury, New York, at the high school on Long Island. Tough, gritty player. They think he's going to take a big step forward.
You know, Ben Fletcher compared him to Terrell Burton, who's at Kennesaw State, who has had a fabulous career.
Yeah.
Missed a wide open Reed on the other end.
Reynolds trying to beat Condon off the bounce, somehow kept the dribble. Nice look from Green. Reynolds, a miss, a triple team, draws the foul.
So far on the defensive end for Florida, they seem to be chasing all angles. And if you're a good team offensively, you love it when a team's got to chase. You pick them apart slowly but surely, and they've done that. Florida's got to settle in, Kevin, defensively, stay in front of guys. Don't rely on getting help from the other man, because then all of a sudden you're playing right into this Bulls' hand.
Well, and because of that, they've fallen behind now by double digits. South Florida has led for the majority of this first half, and within the last few minutes they've stretched it to an 8, 9, 10, now double-digit point lead. So meanwhile, Alex Condon goes to the bench. 2 fouls on the very impactful big Walter Clayton Jr. also with 2 fouls on the Florida side.
It is really odd for me to say this, but this has an NCAA tournament feel, right? Big SEC school against a mid-major school. Crowd's kind of into it, not into it, much like any site. Little 1-3-1 trap defense. Got to get to Richard in a hurry. Delivery by Will Richard. Anytime a zone defense is going to come up against the Gators, Will Richard's going to find an opening.
There's the senior, the steady sharpshooter from deep. You call him maybe an X factor this year?
I think he's got to be consistent with the jump shot. He doesn't have to go crazy and take bad shots, but if he's a consistent scorer, making shots outside, Florida's a dangerous squad.
Reed misfires. Richard, 35% from deep last year. Boy, he pushes that to 40%. That's really critical to Florida's success.
And if you're a good shooter, I think you shoot 40%.
How about that? The cut to the rim. Alexis found him, so back-to-back buckets.
Richard's got good. He's got good size. 6'4". He can move without the basketball. Gator fans now involved a little bit here in Jacksonville.
Inside of 4 minutes in a competitive first half. What a way to open up this college basketball season. 2 teams that are absolutely expected in the top half of their respective leagues.
Solid defense by Houck.
And now here's a force. Wow, Houck smothered, knocks that time. Florida on a 7-0 run and on the move. Richard, yeah! 10-0 run, and they're back in it.
Hello, Will Richard, senior, getting his team back in. They did it defensively, and again, if you move the basketball, they have leadership like Will Richard that can make shots. There's the one deep. Here's the cut. Again, 6'4", strong. And now on the break, tough shot, Will Richard. 10-0 run personally. Gators back in this game.
So Richard, one of the 3 starters that return off of that 24-win team a year ago. Clayton, of course, the all-SEC stud. Bring back a lot from a year ago in the rotation overall.
And again, the confidence that Florida has on Elijah Martin to put him on the point guards out front to be the stopper.
Clayton passed up to 3. Hammer pass to Richard.
Tough
he was
shot.
feeling it. Yep, that was contested. That was Knox who got there. Richard shaking his head. He was looking over at Todd Golden. He knew.
Well, I know they call it a heat check, and shooters maybe want to shoot it, but still shoot a good one.
Sure.
You know, if you ball fake that, move the basketball, you probably get it back.
So South Florida's once double-digit lead has dwindled down to 3. We thought this was going to be compelling and pretty tight ball game between these 2 throughout. Reynolds, boy, muscles by Alexis. So there is the big post threat that this team was missing a year ago.
6'11", 275 pounds.
And you mentioned it, the staff's identifying what they needed in the portal in the offseason. Reynolds coming over from Cincinnati. He's taking to take on a much larger role here. Alexis wants to go right back at him. He's going to go over the right shoulder this time. So that's the second time. A little dexterity previously with the right.
He's got a fabulous skill set. We already talked about that. I love his patience inside. They're going to let Reynolds, with his size, cover Alexis. Big Sam didn't worry about it. Gives up a couple inches. One time right-hand hook, this time a left-hand hook.
Last year all-conference at Chattanooga. Brown was falling out of bounds. Inside of 2 minutes now in the first.
Good hustle by Martin to get to the shooter. Absolutely great defense by Elijah Martin. When he was in the transfer portal, this is a guy that everybody wanted. He took FAU to the Final Four. What we're seeing tonight is a guy that's a defender.
Yeah.
And when you can put a guy and get him in a transfer portal and he wants to play defense, special.
Florida's tightened up defensively. Alexis now 0 of 2 from deep. This one's going back to South Florida. Yeah, so Florida, again, Alexis, one of the 4 transfers that Todd Golden, the staff, brought in. They were very specific about what they wanted. They brought in some size, Alexis, Chinyelu. Martin, no doubt, probably the most coveted or most prized of the bunch. Alexis did that a lot last year at Chattanooga. Shot clock at 8 seconds.
I think what helped Todd Golden.
Walker cut off, difficult fall away, bounces out. New 20. Oh, that was Williams.
Tough shot.
And there's a foul inside. It's a loose ball foul on South Florida. Gators have it.
I was going to say what helped Todd Golden was the fact that Clayton and Richard came back, tested the NBA waters. You have Clayton, Richard, Aberdeen, Condon, Houck as just your core guys.
Yeah.
Now they were trying to add pieces. And you get Elijah Martin, you get Sam Alexis, you get Ruben Chinyelu. And when you add some pieces to guys that's already your core, you're way ahead.
It's a really nice nucleus. By the way, Florida in the bonus here, so 1-1 for Houck, sophomore from Pennsylvania. Florida brought back almost 60% of its scoring. In this day and age, that's a lot. To bring back half your production from a year ago, that's pretty significant. Houck, again, one of those returners. But it just seems like this Florida staff, it's the 3rd year now with Golden, Carlin Hartman, Corey McCray, Kevin Hompty. They've had this nice formula, bring back a good chunk of players in the prior season. They hit on some transfers. We'll see if they have done so again this year.
And remember the need for the size inside, because Micah Handlatten, who will sit out this season, redshirt with a broken leg last year in the SEC tournament.
Okay, Houck wants it. South Florida has missed their last few on this end. Florida has capitalized. It's a 1-point game. Williams to the basket, draws the foul. And so Jimmy Williams, junior from Solon, Ohio, goes to the line with 27 seconds in the first.
And you saw the ability of Jimmy Williams off the bounce. Terrific score in the junior college ranks. We've seen him knock in a jump shot. He's got a great release, a good spin on his ball that time. He had the bigger Houck on him. Easy for a guy to say, I can beat him off the dribble.
Shooting 2.
Two-point game, 27 seconds to go in the first. Sonny, it's been pretty action-packed. We've seen the speed up and down the floor. It's been a fun first half. The reigning AAC champs, they have the advantage.
Well, we didn't know how well either team would shoot because it's the first game.
10-0 run to put an end to that. Gators have only led for a couple minutes. That's it. Opening night.
Shot clock off. Let's see if the Bulls do anything and run at him to double team. They'll play it straight up.
Aberdeen initiating over to Clayton. 10 seconds to go. Alexis sets the screen. This is Clayton. Stops, kicks it back out. Richard, 3 to go. Richard from 18. The fall away, banks it in. So Will Richard puts a cap on his 12-point first half. That is the game's leading scorer. 1-point game at the break. This has been a fun one, partner.
All right, let's go back. Here we go. Elijah Martin, containment out front. He's got to be good on Reed.
South Florida program that is expected to be at or near the top of the AAC this year. playing 11 days after the passing of their head coach, Amir Abdur-Rahim. Just an outpouring of support and love from across the college basketball world. This team made the decision to move forward, play the year in his honor. And they are ahead by 1 after the steal. Here comes Knox in transition. Jennings got the shot blocked. Clayton closed out and swatted it. South Florida is able to maintain it. Big man throws it away. Richard with his eyes up.
A lot more energy by the Gators on the defensive end. Tough shot. What a tough finish.
The Gators take their first lead since the 12-minute mark of the first half. And Will Richard now with 14. Here's Reynolds, throws it down. Reynolds, great size, 6'11", 275 pounds, a senior from St. Petersburg.
Chinyelu back in, did not play many minutes in that first half for Florida.
Yeah, foul on Jennings, and that's his third.
Casey Jennings, his third, the first Bulls team foul.
So Jennings, who again missed all of last season, it's been a significant return to the court for him. He's healthy, has to take a seat. It's a high five from the interim head coach, Ben Fletcher.
It'll be interesting. I think the coaching staff, Ben Fletcher and his staff, will see how this team plays. You take Jennings out, one of their main guys, and productive on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, he's a starter, or should very well be the rest of the season. So now Byron Jarrett, one of our officials, is going to work here, the wet spot after the wipeout. Got Jarrett, Rob Rourke, great crew on opening night. Terry Oglesby has officiated a couple of Final Fours here the last couple of years. Condon hits the cutter. Clayton, Richard for 3, bounces out. Knocks down with the rebound. Now 4 boards for the starter, Knox. This is Stroud going right at Chinyelu. Get that out of here. Then Stroud lost it. So there is the rim protection that Florida adds out of the portal. Chinyelu, the sophomore, came over from Washington State.
And in these first few possessions, South Florida having a hard time getting the ball to the rim. A couple blocks already and deflection on passes. I expect Walter Clayton to get a little more involved on the offensive end.
He is Florida's playmaking, scoring alpha. Led him in scoring a year ago. Clayton to the rim, up and in.
Well, he's got to smooth this. He can quickly go by you. He does it in an effortlessly way.
Williams goes by him, knocked away. Martin comes up with it. Martin to Richard. Richard got it, and the foul.
Todd Golden has talked about his backcourt. One of the 4 guys in the backcourt capable of 20 points on any given night, and tonight maybe it's Will Richard. He's been aggressive attacking. He made the one difficult shot earlier. This time he goes into the big's body. Take it right to Reynolds' body, draw contact, and also finish.
Yeah, he really has been aggressive. So last year he averages about 11, 12 points per game, 35% from deep. You know, that aggression, how critical is that for his game in his senior season?
Well, the key is when you're a shooter and you make a few shots, the defense, it has to adjust to you. Now teammates will be open.
17 for Richard. Florida, he's got a 4-point lead. Reynolds spins past Chinyelu, count it, and the foul. So Reynolds goes right back to work. He's got a chance for a 3-point play on this side.
Wow, and Florida has been so good the first few minutes here defensively. And Chinyelu just simply got lost on what he was doing defensively. You must square up the big. And again, Reynolds has shown that he can shoot the outside shot, but that's much better than him beating you off the dribble, laying it in.
Yep. So Chinyelu takes a seat. Here's Reynolds. kind of a role player last year at Cincinnati, hits the portal. One of the 6 first-year transfers.
A pretty good answer that time that South Florida needed.
1-point game early in the second half. Condon straight on 3. Rebound down to Stroud. Numbers here for the Bulls. Reed, bounce pass, a good look inside to Reynolds. Kick it out. There's Jennings. Yes. Clayton Jennings from the corner. And that time South Florida got back in transition and capitalized.
Unselfish. Share the basketball, find the open shooters.
Yeah, they have the advantage from beyond the arc. South Florida does. Little mismatch inside. Condon couldn't get it to Houck. Instead, Martin to the rim, draws the foul. And so the very physical, very crafty, clever Elijah Martin is going to the line for a pair.
We talk about ball movement and what it does, and if you're unselfish, you find good shooters that are open, and higher quality shots, you make a higher percentage. May sound simple, but some teams don't do that. Some players don't play that way. South Florida team has, and that's why they've got the lead.
You know, the chemistry, it's just so important. And again, let's underscore it, this Bulls team with 9 newcomers. And that's a lot of new players in their first year of the program. You know, a lot of folks on staff would say that's nothing. In Abdur Rahim's first year a season ago, 12 newcomers, and they went on and won the league crown.
And I think the key for any staff is to find the right pieces that they feel that fit with the current guys that they have.
It's critical.
And then you have to have a core group of guys that welcome the newcomers in and really teach them this is how we play here at this school.
Reynolds, yep, he's got position.
And they've really put a focal point at pounding it inside.
Well, Reynolds barging right into Houck. A little too strong with the floater. Bulls back in transition. Clayton decides to take it in himself, and he draws the foul.
Wow, late whistle.
And if that's on, Jennings, that's going to be his 4th. Jennings just hit that big triple in the corner a moment ago for South Florida.
He did not sit out long, and he came back in.
Foul call on number 13,
and he can't believe it.
4th.
Jennings was trying to stay out of the play.
At the free throw line, Walter Clayton Jr., 2 shots.
Well, so he's going to have to take a seat here for quite a while. So that is a critical veteran that will sit down. Now Jimmy Williams comes in to replace him. Clayton, meanwhile, on the other end, hits the front end. Almost 90% at the line a year ago. So, mark it down. 4 minutes into this second half, Jennings is going to have to sit for a while.
Now remember, Jimmy Williams played well in that first half. Guy can catch it, shoot it, also go off the bounce. So far, the Gators have been better second half, keeping the ball in front of them.
And they're back in front by 1. Reynolds trying to use his size and physicality to his advantage, and he'll be at the free throw line for a pair. We got all of them. That's a lot. 9 SEC teams in the top 25.
So are we going for 10 bids this year for the NCAA?
That's the conversation.
Why not? Why not?
The strength of this league, it only grows now with the addition of Texas and Oklahoma. So meanwhile, Jameel Reynolds, misses that one at the free throw line. He was looking for the 3-point play. We've got a tie ball game in Jacksonville. And there's a foul inside. South Florida led by as many as 11 in that first half. Gators then went on a 10-0 run. It's been pretty tight since. 3rd foul on Stroud. Now the fouls are starting to become a problem for the Bulls. That's 5 team fouls just about 4.5 minutes in to the second half. Richard with an aggressive spin, hangs in the air. Reynolds trying to rip it away from Alexis. Reynolds some emphatic words there for Sam Alexis, saying this one is mine. Now the possession arrow does favor Florida, but we're seeing a whole lot of edge and attitude. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, this is opening night, and this is a South Florida team that believes that it belongs and can hang with the ranked squads. They're coming off of 25-win season. They found themselves in the top 25 at one point last year. Martin has been contained a bit on this end from a scoring standpoint. Tries the three. Houck with the offensive board. Nice ricochet to him, so a new 20 for the Gators.
I think Martin's strength probably is more mid-range game, though he can make three when he's open.
Alexis in the paint. Now he steps aside. Houck left it short. Missed opportunity there. Had a good look. And it's South Florida on the move again. Knox wants three. Alexis the board.
I mean, we're literally 4 seconds up the floor. They're shooting. And they're good looks.
Yeah, they have been pushing the pace and getting into transition often tonight. Count it. Martin is going to the line for one more.
Powerful, strong, determined. It's tough when a coach puts the defense on your shoulders, which they have with Elijah Martin. Puts you out front. But this is the physicality that he brings. Now, not tall, not big, but 6'2", 210. So he can draw contact, he can finish plays, and that's what I said previous possession. I think he's got a great mid-range. I know we don't talk about that a lot in college basketball, but because of his size, you get contact, you get to the free throw line, you make free throws, a difference maker on the offensive end for Florida.
Yeah, and so now the Gators are starting to put a good bit of pressure here on South Florida attacking the basket. The next whistle will put them in the bonus. And we've only played 5 minutes in the second half.
So now you give Martin a break, and here comes Denzel Aberdeen, 6'5", defensively on Jaden Reed.
Foul inside.
You know why I like the call? I like the call because it gets the crowd involved. They didn't agree with it. We kind of want some oohing and ahhing to the official.
Just make sure they're paying attention. First foul on Richard, and there's Williams. Rattles in the three. Jimmy Williams. He has taken a couple of confident triples tonight. That is 8 threes for South Florida. So we're knotted up at 52. Williams jumps the passing lane, takes it away, rises, and high off the glass he finishes.
Jimmy Williams.
Williams able to get to his feet, and he slipped. Boy, double whammy for Williams because he looked like he banged his head against the stanchion of the basket. Then as he was trying to get back to his feet, he slipped.
Got stuck underneath, maybe on some cables from the cameraman. Lazy pass, Williams steals it. Tough finish. Coaching staff for South Florida wanted a foul called on that break. Boy, what a good game. For the first game of the year, both teams playing at a high level.
Yeah, this has been very competitive. Aberdeen step back triple, knocks it down. That's an impressive shot. The junior from Orlando.
Good bounce, good step back, all in rhythm.
You know, John, back to your point, both of these teams shooting close to 50% from the floor tonight. You know, we've seen some aggressive defense, but really fine shot making as well. High-level game to open up the year in Jacksonville. Aberdeen knocked it away. No foul. Yeah, he just knocked it out of bounds. And so the Bulls inbound underneath the hoop. Aberdeen's someone who is, his staff expects to take a step forward. And he's going to take on the largest role, really, of his career.
Remember his performance in the semifinal against A&M in the SEC tournament, 20 points.
Yeah, vaulted him to the title game. There's a takeaway. What a pass. What a lead feed to Richard.
What a find by Clayton.
Florida leads it by 3, early second half. 3 in the air, this side, great answer. Kobe Knox, who hadn't knocked one down in a while, ties this thing up at 57.
And the Florida coaching staff is beside themselves because all they've said against the shooters, you got to be on them when they catch it. Knox needs very little time to catch and release.
A wild pass, Clayton on the floor, and that's a foul on Green, and now Green and Clayton are going jaw to jaw here. Neither wants to give up the ball.
I'm not going to say anything, but Green played at Florida State, a little Seminole love.
Boy, who's going to pry these two apart here?
Good hustle. Good spirit.
Yeah, this is just some good competitive ball between these two. No doubt about it.
Take a look at the pass up ahead and the easy finish. Remember, we talked about South Florida getting out and running in the first half. The second half, the Gators putting a little speed to them.
And you got Green and Clayton saying, yeah, who you're going to take it from me? I don't think so.
These are two guys that have had enough of preseason. They want to play against other opponents, and now they're good.
Listen, I'm with you. You know, I love the competitive spirit here. And these are guys playing ball. Nothing really wrong there at all. Clayton at the free throw line again. The problem, though, for South Florida, that's their 7th team foul. And so the Gators are at the line the rest of the way. We're only 7 minutes into the second half, and they're now 11 out of 12 at the line.
And remember, your best player, Walter, averaged, he was 88% from the free throw line last year.
He's brilliant. Green spots up for 3. Oh, Deontay Green, who is tied up with Clayton, says, give me that one. And he knocks down his first basket of the night. Very timely one to put the Bulls back in front by 1. That pass was nearly too far for Alexis. Stretches out to grab it. Green defends him. Alexis again over the shoulder. That offensive skill work is paid off in the offseason.
So scouting, you'd say, which shoulder do you make him go over? Because he's gone both. Tough, difficult, good inside.
Again, it's just punch, counter punch now. Oh, and another player stumbles. You know, we were worried about this again.
Well, let's hope obviously it's moisture. Let's hope it's not from the ice.
Right.
We haven't had anybody else slip quite like that.
But that one goes out of bounds, and so Florida is going to come back the other way. But you get a little bit of that moisture that hopefully does not come up. So 5 out there for the Gators. Aberdeen, Alexis, Richard, who's got 20. Condon back on the floor, and Clayton. And
remember, Aberdeen hit his last shot. I would expect him to stay involved in the offensive end.
Richard passes up to 3. Good ball movement. Yep. 7 to shoot. Clayton attacks. Aggressive past his man and lays it in.
You know what? Good defense. Quick feet. Defensively, they got to the positions. Just a better offensive move by Walton Clayton.
Well, Clayton, yeah, he is beginning to ignite. 17 points now. Expected to very much be the alpha leading scorer for Florida again. Reynolds has had success in the paint. Little fall away. Nice touch, but couldn't finish. Green goes back up, and Alexis clears the board. We've seen some good battles in the paint, really on both ends of the floor. Alexis, screen, roll, the beneficiary. Reynolds, a little too strong there underneath. Affected the shot. There's C.J. Brown, bumped by Clayton. That's his 3rd.
That Coach Amir had. They played against each other in college. Ben Fletcher played at Troy. Amir played at Southeastern Louisiana for Billy Kennedy. Billy Kennedy played in high school at Holy Cross in New Orleans for the Troy coach at Ben Fletcher's coach Don Lester. So they have been together a long time.
His 4th, the 5th Gator team foul.
That was a foul a moment ago on Alex Condon. So Florida's very productive big takes a seat. 4 fouls on Condon. Hauk back into the ball game. South Florida down 3. They had led for much of this game. Find themselves on the wrong end of the 63, now 62 score. Reynolds beginning to ignite a bit inside.
And he is demanding the basketball, and give credit to C.J. Brown, the freshman. Good with the ball, good quickness, got it to him.
So Reynolds now into double figures. He's got 12. South Florida takes it away.
C.J. Brown again.
Bumped by Alexis. That's the 6th team foul on Florida. First on Alexis.
His 1st. The Gators.
South Florida, much of that success a year ago built upon some really sturdy, rugged defense. They were one of the better defensive teams in the league. So they force another Florida turnover.
Kevin, what's quite obvious, both teams, both coaching staffs, they don't have a big drop-off when guys come in off the bench, either side.
Yeah, great depth. Green picked up that loose basketball. This is Green, contested turnaround. That was a difficult one. Clayton with his eyes up.
I think it's about this time, 10 minutes left, Walter Clayton Jr. If you're one of the best in the country, now it's time you got to do a little more and become more involved and take ownership of what this game is now becoming.
He's got 17, plus he's made an array of impactful plays elsewhere. Reynolds is whistled for the foul. So the Gators will walk it down to the other side. It's a 1-and-1 on the other end of the floor.
It is his second.
Well, I think your point about Walter Clayton Jr., it's a good one. Remember, he starts his career at Iona, Player of the Year. The MAAC comes over to Florida a season ago. He and Zion Pullen, 1A, 1B, running the show in the backcourt. Now, Pullen graduates. He's playing at the next level. And so Clayton taking that. What is key to him raising the bar? He set a high one last year. What is it?
So what happens with great players, and when I say the last 10 minutes, he doesn't have to shoot it, but he's got to be aggressive. Because when he's aggressive, that means the Bulls defensively are going to have to try to contain him, whether off the bounce or looking for his own shot. And when they do that, then teammates are open. And because they're in the bonus, if he's aggressive, he can get contact and shoot free throws down the stretch. Man, is Brown quick or what?
Yes, he is, and he found Stroud. Stroud stuck with it. Hauk took it away. It's a jump ball. Hauk is right in Byron Jarrett's face, thinking that there was a foul call. The possession arrow favors Florida, or pardon me, South Florida, so it'll stay over here.
Active hands by Elijah Martin to keep this ball alive for Florida. Nothing like a good old wrestling match in early November.
Yeah. Intense battle.
This is as intense as any opening game I've ever been involved in, and I've been around a long time.
You know, hey, there's obviously a lot of in-state familiarity. We've got a lot of Florida guys on the court and on both rosters. And you've got programs that are likely to be in the top half of their respective leagues. So they've got a courage and a belief about them, want to get the season started on good footing. Williams, the leaner, off the window, couldn't get it to go. So Hauk is going to have to play some valuable minutes here with Condon on the bench with 4 fouls.
And Hauk is so active on the defensive end. Covers a lot of ground, hands up, rebounds.
Elijah Martin draws the foul. And so Elijah Martin, the 5th-year senior from Summit, Mississippi, going back to the free throw line.
Strong and physical. Tough matchup for C.J. Brown, but Brown actually did a pretty good job. Looked like he had a lot of ball.
Florida, as a team, now 13 of 14 at the free throw line. You can add another. Again, they put themselves in the bonus pretty quickly in this first half. Second, pardon me.
You could argue a couple years ago that Elijah Martin was maybe the best player in the country for about a month when they went on their run to get to the Final Four.
He hit some huge shots for Florida Atlantic, during that run.
A great athlete, high school quarterback.
He was undoubtedly just the prized piece of that transfer haul in terms of experience and production. The Gators have their largest lead. It's 5 here, past the midway mark of the second half.
And now Martin's got to be smarter defensively because C.J. Brown has been able to get by the Gators off the bounce.
Reynolds bumping into Chinyelu. Reynolds couldn't get the hook shot to go. Florida looking to extend its lead. Clayton on the pull-up.
Attacking away off the bounce. Make the defender get on his heels. Pull up mid-range jumper.
Now they're in a groove. Florida is. Houck knocked it away. Houck. Oh, that's a great effort play. Todd Golden. You think he likes that? You think he likes it?
Houck wanted a hand up.
Yeah.
His coach just kept him in 5. Oh,
now, hey, we know Todd Golden is animated. That's about as animated
as
you really see. Yeah, you know, a player-coach interaction, maybe from a positive standpoint.
Oh,
Usually, sometimes can be a little more reinforcing in the other direction. This crowd's come alive here. So South Florida has to answer. One of their last 8 on this end of the floor, and that's past the shot clock. Stroud did not get that one off. This place is alive now.
Shot clock violation.
In-state foes going at it in a competitive season-opening tilt. Tonight, it's been a little tense and testy between some of the players, but in a really good, clean, just kind of competitive fashion on the floor. Todd Golden's Gators, they've got a 7-point lead in the season opener. And, yeah, you hustle like that. Thomas Houck saying, hey, can I get a hand up here, Coach? Coach, listen, I love it, man. You know, one less sprint for me next week. You know, Todd Golden, very effervescent 39-year-old from Phoenix, 3rd year at the program. They're heading in the right direction. You know, he and his staff, the way they build a roster, the way they coach their team, you think it resonates well with these guys, no?
It does, and I really thought at the end of last year, I had them a couple times. I thought they were one of the better teams in the country.
Yeah.
And in the championship game, when Micah Handcliffe went down and broke his leg, I mean, obviously you lose that game, and then Colorado gets you 102-100 in the NCAA game. I mean, they had it going, and he's got a squad this year again. It's a long season. It's months away. But this is a squad that can play with anybody.
Yeah, they certainly seem like an upper echelon team in the league. Just how high will they finish in a very rugged SEC this year? There's a foul on that pass inside.
Foul called on number 15, Corey
and it's the first on Corey Walker Jr. So Ruben Chinyelu,
at the free throw line,
the first-year Gator, is at the line. He's got a pair. Florida in the double bonus for the remaining 7:34 of this opener.
And free throw shooting was not his strength at Washington State, but knocks in the first one.
Well, that's his first point as a Gator. He was below 50% at the line last year at Washington State. Played for Kyle Smith. That was the guy who gave Todd Golden his first assistant job. So he hit the portal, finds a new home in Gainesville. 9-point lead for Florida. Remember, South Florida led at the half, led by as many as 11 in the first, but that lead has evaporated. Florida is starting to pull away here with 7 to go. Big 3 of the year. South Florida needs it. They have gone cold on this end of the floor. Gators running. Richard goes up. Foul by Reed.
The defense for this Gator squad has turned it up a notch. And if you're a Gator fan in Gainesville or across the state of Florida, if you don't love the energy of Thomas Houck and what he brings to the floor, and then the teammates around him, they have stepped it up a notch where they're moving better with their feet, getting to the shooters, forcing turnovers. And then when you have speed, and really a guy like Walter Clayton Jr. at 6'3" can rebound and push, or they can put a lot of pressure on a defense.
It's a 20-point game now for Richard. You know, going back to the Houck point, Alex Condon, their starting big, goes down with his 4th foul. Goes out with his 4th foul a little while ago. You've got a player like Houck coming off the bench. This staff thinks they've got really solid depth in the front court and back court.
And what did we talk about at the start of this game, and what Florida thought about in the offseason was we got to get better defensively. And that was allowed this, right now, this stretch to an 11-point lead. Todd Golden's team has been outstanding in the second half on the defensive end.
Well, no better illustration than look at the last game they played.
Look how good.
Clayton, count it, and he's got one more coming.
When I say it's time for All-Americans to do what All-Americans do, that's what I mean. He has made terrific plays in the last 3 minutes for himself, for his teammates that time, because of his speed, his quickness, his hesitation, then the explosion around a defender. But watch the finish. He's going to draw contact and then hang left-handed, soft touch.
It's just been the savvy, clever decision-making of late, yeah?
Yeah, last 3 minutes.
That's what you would expect from a senior. Again, all-conference a year ago, landed on the preseason first team. He doesn't have to. He could potentially lead the league in scoring. That's how prolific he could be this year. 14-point lead, and the Gators have really opened this thing up. They're on a huge run. It's a 17-2 run the last 5.5 minutes. So, you know, it was a 1-point game. Now it's a 14-point cushion. There's a foul on Hauk. That'll stop play momentarily. 6:32 to go. So if you're South Florida, you get some points here at the free throw line.
And as aggressive as you'd like to be on defense, keep your hands away. There's no sense putting South Florida on the free throw line.
Sonny, they're one of their last 9 offensively, you know, on this side of the floor. So they're going to potentially get a couple back here at the line. That ends the 4+ minute scoring drought. Knox leads the way. For all South Florida players, he's got 14.
Here's a 1-3-1 little trap. Make sure Will Richard, if you're the Gators, find an opening usually in the corner.
Martin gets a man flying. Now he's got the mismatch. Puts some moves on Reynolds. Hauk with the offensive board. Martin thinks better of the 3. Goes up with the left. Got it. Oh, Florida. They are just living in the paint and at the line now. And the lead can grow back to 15 here with one more at the free throw line.
Extra possession by the offensive rebound. And then Martin, again, we've seen this all ball game. His ability to be strong and physical. I'm not sure Stroud is really even trying to be a part of the contact, but Martin got his body to body and put the pressure on Stroud, who's now done for the night.
Yeah, it's his 5th foul, so the senior from Atlanta, very dependable veteran, must take a seat. So if you're South Florida, you got 6 minutes here. You're down 14, led by as many as 11 in that first half. They've got to get something going here on this end of the floor. How about Reynolds from deep? Jameel Reynolds, the senior from St. Petersburg, Florida, buries the triple. Well, Sonny, this Florida experienced backcourt starting to take over the second half.
Well, we knew at the top of the show that this is one of the better backcourts in the SEC, which puts them in one of the better backcourts in the nation. They can shoot it, they can defend, they can take you off the bounce, and there's a wide variety of how they do it. But when you think of Martin and Clayton and Richard, look at the numbers. 32 of the team's 39 points in the second half.
And they've done it in a variety of ways from outside. We have seen them attacking the rim of late and getting to the free throw line too.
And I'll say this, all 3 guys, the reason why they have the lead is not the scoring. They've stepped it up on the defensive end. They have made it difficult for South Florida, the guards of South Florida, to get anything going offensively.
Well, South Florida, one of its last 10 on the offensive end, has basically transformed their 1-point lead. That was at the 12.5-minute mark to now down double digits. Clayton, he's got 23. He is cooking.
There are times All-Americans make it look easy, and it's looking easy now.
Now Richard cleared for takeoff here. Will Richard, he's got a 20-point game as well, like you saw a moment ago. So that duo with 45 of Florida's 82. Jennings has it knocked away. They whistle Clayton for his 4th foul. And it's just a Gators team that has been relentless here in this second half.
And Todd Golden still trying to keep his guys locked in with over 5 minutes to go. But the activity on the defensive end, Will Richard with a steal and the easy finish. But it has been a defensive clinic in the second half for Florida. And remember how they struggled in the first half.
That's right. So they've forced 9 South Florida turnovers in this second half. You know, would they have just they had a handful in that first half, but 9 in this second. Florida shooting exquisitely. They've had so many high percentage looks. Clayton Jennings back on the floor. He will very likely be a reliable starter this year for the Bulls. Again, they led Sonny for much of this game until about the halfway mark of the second. That's when Florida really tearing it around.
So what happens when you are on runs or against a run? And remember, South Florida losing 3 of their top scorers from a year ago, right? So there'll be a point in the season, at some point, maybe earlier, you hope, than later, that someone in a Bulls uniform has to understand who on our team can stop when we're struggling on the offensive end.
Right.
Who can get us a bucket? How do we get our best shooters open when we need a bucket? And you learn all those things, especially early in the season.
Yeah, and that was a question we were talking about this week, or had been discussing. Who could be their leading scorer? You know, they've got great depth. They've got a 9-10 man rotation that we've got a good sense that Fletcher and his staff are very comfortable with. Martin one more time going back to the free throw line, where he's 6 of 8 at the stripe today. He's physical, he's built, he's wide, he's brawny, he can absorb contact.
He's got 35 pounds on C.J. Brown. Now C.J.'s got quickness, but Martin has experience. He got C.J. Brown on his side, and he kept him on the side.
You know, it's not just the experience of the pedigree. This staff has talked at length about kind of the edge, the juice that a guy like Martin brings. Again, he's been to a Final Four. He's played in a lot of games. He's won a lot of games. And that is something that has been really good for this group to play off of. He's an energy giver, very, very courageous.
Well, and again, they put him on the point defensively. I mean, that's a huge responsibility because it sets your defense.
Martin winds up falling down. Reed buries the 3. So it's an 11-point game. Florida still in control with 4:35 to go in the ball game. Season opener in Jacksonville. Aberdeen is able to keep the pivot foot. Falling away from the basket, puts it in.
You know, it's interesting when you have over 4 minutes to go, the game is not over. We've seen when the Bulls had the run in the first half.
Yes.
They have continued the second half, tried to pound it inside to Reynolds.
Yeah, Reynolds turns Chignello around that time. You know, Reynolds, he is very agile, crafty around the rim. Again, he is taking on a much larger role than he's really ever had in his career.
Well, he's well traveled. Central Florida, Temple, Cincinnati.
All right, here you go. Bulls trying to get it back to a single-digit deficit. Brown draws the foul, and so C.J. Brown is going to the free throw line, and if he makes them both, this deficit is back to single digits. 3:49 to go in Jacksonville.
Gators by 11, and they've done in the second half on the defensive end. Active hands that started this second half. I think better feet, better movement, helping each other out. They put a lot more pressure on South Florida And then in the first half, communication, stepping out, helping recover, forcing turnovers. And Todd Golden said, this season, if we're successful, we've got to do it on the defensive end.
Yep. 2 here at the line for the freshman C.J. Brown to get it back to single digits.
And what Florida has to remember is they go to the free throw line every time there's a foul. So they've got to be aggressive offensively, put pressure on South Florida. Yes, you can run a little clock if you want to, but there's a lot of time left in this game.
There you go. So C.J. Brown, who's going to be a very impactful player for them this year, hits 2, 9-point game.
And full court pressure. Remember, South Florida very quick with their feet, active with their hands.
Alex Condon back on the floor for the Gators. First time in a long time. About 12 minutes of game action. He's playing with the 4 fouls. He's got it. This is Clayton. 20-point game already in the bag. There's a foul on Brown. So that sends Alex Condon to the free throw line for 2. Tough break there if you're the Bulls.
Well, the thing is, there was a switch. And when C.J. Brown at 6'2" got hooked up with Condon inside, the smart play by Walter Clayton Jr. was to go back to the post. He had a mismatch. Now let's see if Condon can make the free throws.
That's a rare miss for Florida at the line. They're 21 out of 25, so it's about 85%. Basically, they've got 9 more points than South Florida at the line. There you go. There's your deficit right there.
And South Florida now has their smaller lineup with Jaden Reed in the lineup with C.J. Brown. So expect them to quickness and speed offensively, but also defensively.
A couple of SEC teams have gone down today. These Gators, oh, wow. They have erased the deficit. Walter Clayton Jr. with a vicious rejection of Jaden Reed.
Foul called on Jaden Reed.
Shot block and then a frustration foul by Jaden Reed. Watch this. That's the length. That's 5 inches.
Number 1, Walter Clayton
Reed with a quick, frustrated thing. But again, you put a guy on the line instead of that had an easy layup.
Right.
Smart foul.
So Walter Clayton Jr. The last time we saw him, he went for 33 in that tournament game against Colorado. It's a 25-point game for the senior from Lake Wales, Florida, and this is going to go back to the Gators. Yeah, so Byron Jarrett says that he lost the handle. Okay, it falls in bounds. He grabs it, though, while his 1 foot was on the other end of the line. Martin rises. Rebound down to Green. It's been a difficult second half for the Bulls. Green turns, scores. 10-point game. Less than 3 minutes to go in the opener.
Now, how do you, if you're South Florida, how do you bother this Florida team? Well, they got a guy like Clayton, you got Richard, you got Martin, 3 great guards out front with the basketball. Clayton has dominated from the 10-minute mark when we talked about it, when All-Americans kind of need to step up. He has dominated this game.
This is a program that had to quickly mourn the loss of their head coach, Amir Abdur-Rahim, beloved figure, not just in Tampa, but around the college basketball world. Just 11 days ago, tragically passed. Ben Fletcher was named the interim Tuesday last week. These players, though, they came together a little more than a week ago, a couple days after his passing. And they basically unanimously said they were going to play this season to honor his legacy. Offensive foul, we're going to go back the other way. That was an illegal screen on Reynolds.
You know, for these young men, I mean, grief can be a daily thing, right?
Yes.
I mean, it can, there'll be moments, many of these players have only played for Coach Amir Abdur-Rahim, and it will be tough But, you know, just watching them tonight, they are going to have a fabulous season. This is a terrific team.
Yeah, I think so. They'll be at or near the top of the American, you would think. Martin can't get it to go. Condon, count it, and the foul.
Relentless. Absolutely relentless. Alex Condon is non-stop. You feel like you have him blocked out, but it's constant movement, constant activity. One jump, two jumps, the third jump. Impressive.
He's got five rebounds. How many on the offensive end you think? It's a perfect 5 for 5. So that was his forte a year ago. He basically prides himself on being more physical than you. I'm going to outwork you to get that board.
And he's not the biggest of guys. 6'11", only 230.
Foul on Martin, so Jennings should head to the free throw line. 2:08 to go. It's a 15-point Florida lead.
Foul called on number 15, Elijah Martin.
A team last year that averaged nearly 86 points a ball game.
You read my mind.
93 2 minutes ago.
Pick it up right where they left off.
But we did know the pace would be up and down because South Florida can score it as well.
You know, we talked about Ben Fletcher, the interim. Yeah, he has discussed at length these last 7 to 10 days the support and the counseling and guidance that these players have received from the university, from the community. That has been immense. You know, let's take a moment to just salute the support that the community has given this university. Athletic Director Michael Kelly, you know, they have done everything that they have needed to do in the most trying of times to put their student athletes in the best position just to succeed here moving forward. That's one way to break the press. Will Richard throws down another.
Will Richard.
It's a 25-point game for Will Richard. Reed could not answer on the other end. Deontay Green goes up. No. Martin clears it. Florida has maintained the double-digit lead. For much of this second half, they went on a 17-2 run around the midway mark, and they have been in control since. Terry Oglesby just stopped the play for a moment. Walter Clayton Jr. is hobbling around a little bit, and he's hobbling back to the sideline.
I like the answer early in the week Todd Golden gave when they said, hey, you guys are number 21 in the country. And he said, you know, we're on the right track, but we're not applauding ourselves quite yet.
Yeah.
And, you know, the message to his team is they're good enough to be one of the top 15 teams in the country.
Richard rises. That's way off. Shot clock violation. Well, just look back to last year. As you've mentioned several times, if you're, what's a formula that works if you're Florida? You want to be playing your best basketball as the year is unfolding, when you get into conference play, as you're getting closer to postseason play. They got better as a unit. And you know, we've talked to several folks on this staff. They are lauding just the professional approach that so far in the preseason this team has embodied collectively. Florida has.
Well, think of the greatness of this league preseason. Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, Arkansas, A&M, Kentucky, Texas, a newcomer. Ole Miss, will they take a step? I mean, it's crazy the depth of this league. A team like Georgia that you might not think of them, but when I think of a team like Georgia, I think of their backcourt. They've got guys that have been there as freshmen a year ago, Silas Demery and Blue Kane, now sophomores. Mason Newell, a five-star freshman, one of the best in the country.
Yes.
I mean, this league is littered with unbelievable talent.
You know, it does feel like, to your point, 10, 11, 12 teams are in. I'm not saying all of them are going to make the tournament, but you've got 10, 11, 12 teams that seem like they do have the potential upside. Maybe to be in the top half of the league, to reach a tournament. I mean, there is quality teams in the league. And again, it just expands and gets better. You add Texas and Oklahoma.
I think of a couple teams towards the bottom. South Carolina, which had a great year last year. And have the talent and the coach to be good again. Mississippi State, which was NCAA team.
Yep.
They're picked kind of towards the bottom part of the league. The depth and how good the league's going to be now to make a stamp on college basketball. The SEC has to win games in November and December.
That's Jameel Reynolds, senior from St. Petersburg. He's got a team high 17.
And what a great addition for this ball club this season.
Without a doubt. So he exits after fouling out 17 and 6 for Reynolds. He was really good all game. Knox, by the way, with 14, 12 for Jennings. So they've got depth. Again, today ran into some offensive woes in the second half. This Gators' speed, size, and athleticism overwhelmed them. And so Florida getting close to 100 here. Jennings with a good-looking shot. South Florida still presses. 16.4 to go.
Crowd always wants 100. Coaches always pull it back.
And these Gators.
What a ball game.
Yep.
Terrific.
With quite a bit of upside and potential this year, they start 1-0. They received a pretty fiery test from a quality South Florida team.